Their tombstone in Hope Cemetery has an inscription, Psalm 107, verse 7. He led them forth by the right way, that they might go to a city of habitation. They had 4 children: Daniel Webster, born December 6, 1838, Jerusha Brewster, born December 8, 1840, Mary Judd, November 4, 1842, and Martha Ward, April 27th of 1846. Daniel is my great-grandfather. He was a dairy and sheep farmer. He married Emmeline Butler, February 29, 1860, and lived in Hazeldale community, which was northeast of the city limits of Galesburg. In 1862, he got money from his father to homestead in Nebraska. They had 4 children. Mary died in 1892. Fanny Loomis Farnham, my grandmother, born August 3, 1867 at Galesburg, and died October 25, 1914 on the home farm in Archer, Nebraska. She married Theodore Bayless Swartwout, November 30th, 1886, at Archer, Nebraska. They had 3 children: Eugene Raymond, born September 18th, 1887, Addie Emmeline, June 14th, 1898, Harlow Bernardus, February 7th, 1901, my father. He married Florence Hawkins, November 6th of 1924 in Quincy. She was born January 9th, 1900 in Moulton, Iowa. They lived in West Point, Illinois. My dad lied about his age and went into World War I. After returning from the service, he worked as a telepole builder. They were building the telegraph from the east to the west. And after their marriage, though, they did move back to Nebraska to help farm. My mother, not being a farm girl, didn't like Nebraska. They had twin girls in 1925, and they had 6 months colic. And when my mother got pregnant with my brother in 1927, she said, "I'm going back to Illinois, with or without you." So they came back to Galesburg. My brother Harlow was born in Galesburg October 28, 1927. I was born at home October 9th, 1937, on East Main Street in Galesburg. My dad worked for the Adams Steel Press Company, the hemp factory, and was an extra on the railroad. And in August of 1928, he became a full-time employee of the CB&Q Railroad and worked there until his death in 1948. I graduated Galesburg High School in 1955, worked at the Bank of Galesburg until I married Dean Clarence Sandstrom, March 2nd, 1958, and moved to Monmouth. We ran a produce station at first until the farmers turned more to grain farming. Having been a family to raise, he started working at Gamble's Warehouse. I was a stay-at-home mom until our youngest went to school. Then I went to work. And I am a member of the Warren County Genealogical Society, a charter member. I have been active in the Eastern Star. I have been active in the Lutheran Church. And we enjoy trying to keep history going, and are members also of the Historical Society.
Okay. Are there, very well prepared.
Yeah. I didn't say much about the newer, but yeah.
Are there any other anecdotes, like particular family stories that maybe you didn't put in the timeline that you wanted to share?
Okay, when my mother was in Nebraska, Grandpa wanted to teach her how to shoot coyotes. She'd never shot a gun before in her life. Said she went out, he had a target set up. She picked up the gun, closed her eyes, pulled the trigger, hit a bullseye. He says, "You know how to shoot a gun," so he didn't make her do it anymore. But that was just before the big sandstorms came. And she says, "You wet down sheets and hung them at the windows and doors to keep the dust down until the storms were gone, and then you cleaned your house. That might have been one reason she wanted to come back to Illinois. During the war, World War II, I was in grade school. We bought stamps for a booklet, one a week, and I can remember covering up Mussolini's face, and when the book was full, we bought us a savings bond. My dad was an avid golfer, fisherman, and lots of times we would go to Lake Story for supper, and if he caught fish, we ate fish. If he didn't, we had fried potatoes. He was quite a gardener and had a large garden, and my mother had a large flower bed. So they both loved gardening of one type or another. My mother was an avid musician. She played violin and piano. My dad sang in a barbershop quartet. That's just about it.
Well, great. Thank you
Okay.
so much.